Howdy, howdy. Welcome back to MCubed. It was the finale of Ahsoka, and we've got afterthoughts. I assume plenty. We literally have not said a word about Ahsoka yet in the backstage. So these are our initial thoughts for one another.
Hell yeah.
Y'all got any? I really enjoyed it. I wanted more from it because it was actually, I like every bit I really enjoyed, so I wanted more, I guess, at the end of the day. But I'm very happy with what we got. Is that a good way of putting it?
No,
I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it.
I'm not
really.
I agree. Go ahead. What were you gonna say about it?
Okay, so it's not even subject matter. It's really just, again, like execution, formal elements type of stuff. Just plot armor fights. There's no weight to anything. And then also, like, dude, you could have cut out 20 minutes of that and still there was not a plot. It was just kind of like things happening.
Yeah. I'll tell you my most favorite and least favorite part. Most favorite part was seeing the night troopers get resurrected.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Seeing that Night Sister magic was, I think, the best part about this.
Yeah, that was tight. That's cool.
I guess my least favorite was the boss fight. Because I thought it was cool that we saw what's her name get bestowed with Night Sister magic. She's finally part of the cool kids club, and then they're like, Thrawn's like, we gotta sacrifice you. I'm like, okay, it's for the cause. I get it, but I'm like, that's the main lightsaber wants to be in this. That's the main fight scene.
Yeah,
where's Balin and Shin? Where's Balin and Shin this whole time?
Yep.
Yeah, ridiculous. Yep.
Their characters are literally forgotten about in the script. I don't think there's no way this is a complete draft of any script. There's no way.
I'm with you there because those are kind of the most pivotal characters story wise the entire season, and now we get absolutely nothing.
Why did they go there?
Shots. You get 2 shots of them.
Yeah, at the
Quite
very
literally.
very end.
That's why I can't remember. Do you want to talk about those shots with Balin on the right next to the father statue and the son and the daughter's like?
I was just gonna say that was awesome.
Yeah,
that was
wait.
really
The daughter's gone.
It's
the daughter's gone.
You saw the owl.
Yeah.
Well, we saw the owl, but we didn't see the statue of her.
Well, yeah, the statue crumbled. There was just
I know the statue crumbled, but like we saw
the son and the father.
Well, the daughter's.
Where's Abeloth? It's right there. It's right there.
She's got to be right there.
What's the light? What was that? The light at the end that he's looking at? Like, what is going on?
I don't know.
It was just a nothing burger.
It ended up being a nothing burger. Howdy,
the
Quest.
whole
How you
fucking
doing?
episode. Excuse my language.
No, you're good. We're past the 2-minute mark.
Okay, good.
But, okay,
Shin.
so
and then we have Shin holding the blade up at the end, saying like, "What I'm gonna."
What is it?
What
Dune?
does that mean? I don't know. It feels like a Dune. Yeah, it kind of felt like very Dune. Like, I'm gonna be the leader of these people now, kind of thing. I'm gonna find my own path. And then Bailey.
It's like, bro,
there's no build up to that really at all.
No. I like the idea of it. It just needed a little better execution, honestly.
It's all tone too, man. It's like where's the tonal consistency? Where's the wonder? I mean, we're in a new galaxy. Nothing is introduced except anthropomorphic hermit crabs and wolves. Wow, really creative. And the background, it's just fucking Scotland. Really creative. We have a cool dark temple. Nothing happens. There's no atmosphere. It's just a fucking empty concrete building. Wow, so creative. And then they just leave. So creative.
Yeah, ultimately not a lot of world building.
Horrible, dude. I'm like, what is going on?
For what the middle of the season did world building wise, it stopped in episode 7.
It just stopped. It just stopped because the beginning part, fine.
Yeah. I mean, I just know the episode when they came to this galaxy. I'm like, okay, cool. This is hype. I'm getting that sense of wonder. This is something new, and they do nothing with it. Now we're gone. We have 4 of these main characters from this season here, but it's like, what the hell is their purpose on this planet? There's no build up truly to any of it.
How do you even reference Zepho again? How do you not even do that inside the temple now?
Right. Nothing in the temple besides these stormtroopers getting resurrected.
Right, and that's like an external thing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a setup for season 2. That's really what I feel like. That's what it feels like to me. It doesn't feel. I don't feel satisfied. I'm like, all right.
I agree.
Thanks for telling us. That's the whole message behind this. Just we're gonna be waiting for the next season.
I like the setup episode. That's all it was.
You know, the coolest parts were the Night Sister magic and the Stormtrooper battle. And then that final that
and Balin's one scene.
And Balin's and the ending. I do
so they're definitely recasting him, right?
You gotta like the ending. You got
absolutely, yeah. It's completely right.
The part of the ending with Hayden Christensen. That's the only part about it that I like.
That was so beautiful, dude. Oh.
I'm like,
see, I even was like, I thought it was like you cheapened it for the first time. You cheapened him being in there.
You think so?
Only because right. She should have said something. Like, I think he kind of took for granted, this sort of cathartic scene where like more of the context is only in Dave's head. And where I'm like, dude, what was the previous whole minute of the scene at night before she kind of walks over there? They're just kind of looking at the sky, saying vague like lines about like, you did good. Training stuff. And then it's just like, I don't know. It just seemed totally like because I was watching with Schmook for reference with Hager, and I just kind of was like, oh, Anakin's there, and then wait, that's the final shot. Cut to black.
The only thing
what just happened?
I'm thinking Anakin might have been the light. That's my only thought process there, is just because we got Balin standing over the father and the son. Anakin's kind of potential, like in the Mortis arc, to become the father might have been realized whenever he died and was killed by his actions with Palpatine, I guess. So maybe he is the father at this point. Balin is maybe becoming the son, and we have Ahsoka, the daughter, there. And maybe that's...
I kind of feel like Balin's more towards the father than anything. Like he's... he doesn't really choose either side. He's like what they say, a mercenary this whole time, right? He's not Sith or Jedi.
But he talks about power. That's like his primary focus.
Jedi.
He talks about power, but he's smart about it, and he's not losing it. That's the thing. He makes it out in the end of this series, apparently, and surprisingly to everyone's surprise. I don't know, but he's him standing by the father. I'm trying to make a connection. And I think there is.
I respect that, but I like what Harris said. I think it makes sense. You can set up for that, or just Anakin's above all of that now, and he's just literally God. And,
he is the Force.
But at the same time, not referenced once in the sequels.
No, sure. Yeah.
So what the fuck? That's the glaring thing here, is that this all leads to an infinite nothing.
It might connect to the movie because they were talking about Mandalorian, the bombardment of it, and everything about unlocking Sabine's potential. I think that's the only connection I can make to Ahsoka and the Mandalorian being in the big movie.
It's got to connect to that movie. The question, I guess, is how does it connect to the overall galaxy and where we end up in the next 5, 10, 15 years? I'm thinking we go back to Peridia. There's I don't know what brings them there, but Thrawn has to create the new Empire of the Hand if he's going to do that, and not necessarily the Empire. And that doesn't necessarily happen in the known galaxy. So either he has to go find his way back around the Chiss, his own people, or he goes back to Peridia, which separates. We don't have to tackle this right now, but I am intrigued if and when probably we get an Ahsoka season 2, is it going to be split in half between Ezra and Hera in the known universe, or is it going to be all Peridia now? Because I'd honestly kind of rather all Peridia and really just world build and explore. I'd love more Ezra and Hera. But...
I would agree. I think if anything, You might get like one episode, like how with Book of Boba Fett, you get like that Mandalorian type of episode in Ahsoka, just like they fill in some stuff with Thrawn and Hera. But with that being said, I think you could have them play a big role within the Mandalorian season 4, and this would all lead into the movie where it all comes together.
Yeah. A little Quest mentioned Skeleton Crew. Skeleton Crew's going to tie into Peridia in some way, so I don't know.
Maybe.
That's interesting. Well, it's supposed to be outside the galaxy, so we'll see. I don't know.
You want to talk about?
I find it strange, randomly, that they're trying to push all this outside the galaxy stuff, and like since the prequels, we've seen like 5 planets. Like, we're done within the galaxy? Like, we're now doing all this expanded stuff, and it's like, the sequels didn't even show that much.
No. And the planets we did see in the sequels got exploded.
Right. Yeah, or otherwise it was just like, we're on a planet, the planet is a single biome for some reason over an entire planet. Like, we just go, I don't know. Maybe that's a minor criticism of just like I feel like the visual design has really fallen off since the prequels.
Well, the world building aspect of things. It's kind of like Ahsoka, where it world builds so well that it just stops. And that's kind of what happened, I guess, after it's not after Disney bought it. That's not even the right way to do it, because Rebels world builds like nobody's business. Resistance even world builds for the sequels. Resistance is a very childlike show, but
and I have a lot of the concept art for the sequels, like the books, and the design stuff in there it's really fantastic artwork, but it just is kind of like
chosen not to be shown or
no
utilized.
Well, yes, they always go with like the safest designs, and I feel like the artists from the very start are very limited with what they can like kind of have freedom to design. I just feel like somewhere they've kind of lost that spirit that George and all of those people brought to the prequels. I don't know. And I felt that reflected with whatever the new planet is. You said that's Peridia, right? That's what it's called.
Yeah.
I think again with the new planet, like it's just Scotland. Like, we can't make anything interesting. Like, we're this far away and we're just in the British Isles again. I don't know.
And it doesn't.
But I think that reflects too. Yeah.
No, I'm with you, and I don't think they have to do anything too outlandish to, I guess, world build and do something. The example that comes to mind, you and Schmook, probably a little more like super film oriented, might recognize it. Have y'all seen Slow West? The Western?
I know what you're talking about, but I haven't seen it.
Cody Smith-McPhee, Michael Fassbender, a couple other people. It's filmed and set in the American Midwest, but it's not filmed, I guess, in the American Midwest. It's set in the American Midwest, but it was filmed in New Zealand. So you just kind of get like an off tone the entire time. Everything just feels a little bit different, and it's awesome. I love it. And I feel like if they just did something like that, it's not something like it, just dress it up a little bit. Just make it not Scotland. Make it not the desert. Make it not something like that.
Right.
Just
anything.
Just a tad. Just a little bit.
I was also thinking the same thing, honestly. Like, I was like, this looks exactly like the planet Rey found Luke on. Like,
thank you.
It's just kind of copy paste, bland. I get it. Totally get the criticism for sure.
So
I think that kind of it extends outwards, just kind of like, the possibilities of what's happening. It just felt very like more like treading water. I don't know.
Yeah, treading water is a good way of saying that. On that same thought, what about this? Do you think Sabine's moment with the lightsaber was earned using the Force? Do you think it was? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you not like it? Was it earned at all, or was it kind of like, okay, this character's Mandalorian?
I will say I don't think it's not earned, but it's just from her to go to just to barely grab her lightsaber to her to be able to like throw.
That right there.
That's where I have a problem. Where it's like, okay, this feels like a Luke Skywalker moment when he's in the cave on
right.
And I'm like, that's cool. Like they're not in tone completely with their Force abilities, but this was nice to show that they're getting there.
Yeah.
But it's just go from that to like a giant leap is just pretty off-putting for me.
It's like I get
Hundreds
the confidence
of feet.
boost. The confidence boost is nice, but it's not that nice. Like you did it great, but you just shot something into your hand from 3 or 4 feet away. You're not.
I'm sorry if Luke can't do it until he starts to train with Yoda. There's a problem.
No.
And we know that midi-chlorian count.
Like the only thing that makes sense about that is Ahsoka saying if she unlocks her power, she may become dangerous. Maybe she just unlocked her powers and she's like, "Wow, I'm gonna take an even bigger leap of faith and test the waters a bit." She's like, "Wow, this is actually a lot easier." I don't know. But that seems
I could
very
buy.
far-
I could buy that. I could buy
but
that.
I don't. It's
I buy
highly
it because of that
unlikely.
line, but still, it should have been
That's the only line
prolonged a
that kind
little
of
bit.
like strengthens that theory, though.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she's able to do these massive feats like push Ezra to the fucking Star Destroyer.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
was huge.
There's just not enough training on this at all.
It's the sequel
Even-
thing again. It's
Even
Rey.
Ezra,
Yeah,
even Ezra's
it is
like,
a race,
"Are you sure?" I'm like, "No, I can't do it."
Yeah,
like,
same,
Anakin
Ezra.
as
I have
the
the same
chosen
doubt,
one.
bro.
Anakin being the chosen one, he was able to move shit in Phantom Menace. He just was able to sense things before that happened, like a reflex.
Yeah.
Until he was trained by Obi-Wan Kenobi at the Jedi Temple. Like, it's just, none of this makes sense to me. No one's that gifted with this stuff. If Anakin can't be, they can't be.
Absolutely.
The thing is,
excuse me.
They
Absolutely.
can sense things before they happen, but Anakin had premonitions. Like he could actually see
Yeah,
Padme
future.
in pain and the future. None of
Which
them
is
are at
different,
his
sure.
level.
Mm-mm.
but still,
Yeah,
Oh,
dude, he had clairvoyance level force powers as a child.
As a
child.
child, yeah.
Clairvoyance. That's crazy.
I was gonna say
Untrained.
Another favorite part is Ezra building his new lightsaber with Huyang. Or
yes,
I did like
was
that.
honestly probably my favorite scene.
Where he
I
gave,
love that scene.
where he gave
Mhm.
Kanan's old guard or the replacement guard.
Oh,
That was
Uh-huh.
endearing. That was endearing. I like that.
give
I like
reference to
that.
Caleb.
I liked every Ezra scene within this episode. Like,
I'm with you.
Ezra's been like
Yeah.
honestly the highlight of this series for me. I've always
Brad
loved Ezra
disagrees.
from Rebels, but like just when he comes back to hit the galaxy, sees Hera and Chopper recognizes him, even with the stormtrooper outfit on, I'm like, all right, I dig this.
that
was
made me
fun.
happy.
Mhm.
Well, it's so Ezra, showing up in a stormtrooper,
So
like,
Ezra,
Just out of nowhere, yeah.
I love it. I loved all of it. I mean,
See, and I
Like
like
that.
him. I think he's the
Yeah.
best, perhaps the best actor, like in these scenes. But
Mhm.
I think even the tone of the lightsaber scene was still like off. Like it's just. I was
Did
like,
it
bro,
feel
they're about to-
childlike in a way.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, first of all, this guy's like 30. Like he is on. Like they're about to. Like thinking about the seriousness of the event. It's like, okay, we're about to try to assault this guy's main ship, and like we could all die and or be stranded billions of light years away from anyone we know forever. And then it's like this kind of like Rebels level scene of like we're doing all the references, and it's just all these like very like it felt very basic and missing the tone.
I think basic is there. The tone, it's very basic. The tone's screwed up just a little bit. I don't mind Ezra being that way, honestly, just because I love the character of Ezra in general.
No,
But-
it can fit, but it's just the whole general like tone of what they're saying and how they're saying it. It
Sure.
needs more nuance, in my opinion.
I agree. I feel like for the other characters, Ezra, I feel like hits the nail on the head just because he's been alone for however long. He'd still be that kid that was left. He didn't really
I
have,
agree with that.
I-
agree.
but-
he still has
Okay,
this
fair enough.
optimism.
I
And
also think
well, okay. The thing I think that hurts those scenes the most is that makes it feel that basic is we all understand how lightsabers work, or at least we think we do. And it's not like they're bouncing off of stormtroopers like Obi-Wan Kenobi, but they're not slicing through. They're not doing the damage you think they do.
I
And it
kept
takes away
saying
from
that.
the scene. It takes
We
away
have
completely from
seen-
the scene.
Ahsoka behead like 5 Mandalorians at once. We get one beheaded scene, and I think they made it super rational, like just to make it super PG. Like, oh, it's a zombie; he's already dead. Now we
Yeah.
can finally like behead him, and not. They found a way to mask it anyway. Like you don't even see
Exactly.
the chop. You don't see it at all. It's like okay.
And
you
I
found a
like
way
the
to
zombie
make it-
aspect.
You made it suitable for children.
Yeah, I
You-
mean, the zombie aspect makes sense. It's cool. It's great. But at the same time, we've watched Clone Wars when these characters were literally 13, 14, 15, 16 years old, and they're sliced and diced.
We
and
have
chopped.
seen so many of these characters do war crimes. Okay, we have seen all
Chopper
of it.
particularly.
Chopper. The most of
astonishing
all.
lack of war crimes from Chopper this episode. I know, it wasn't.
Yeah, honestly, that's my biggest complaint so far.
I expected at least one war crime from the Senate scene with Chopper, and we didn't even get that. So I'm just
Ahsoka
we need a
season
little
2. I'm calling it now. Chopper's the one to plant the bomb that blows up Thrawn's ship, his
And
search.
then he
Please.
says some fucking snide comment about it too.
And then it just closes. That's how it ends. Ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-da-da.
I think Hera's and Ezra's reunion should have been way more impactful, if you ask me too. I mean, it's such a
I'm good,
stupid
sci-fi.
minor complaint, but Hera's thought, she's like, is she dead? Is she not dead? Like,
I do like everyone's reaction though.
I mean, I guess.
yeah.
Everyone's
It
like,
was solid. It was like,
well, now it's like everyone's super shocked and everyone's gonna believe her. Man.
Yeah,
well,
true.
yeah.
I like the reunion from Ezra's point of view a lot more. I felt like Hera should have said like this is, I know I have Jason, but this is like my first son essentially. This is like my adoptive son essentially that I got off the streets. Like I think she should have just a little more emotion. If she would have shed a tear, I probably would have shed a tear. It's Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
It could have been a shock factor too, though, which I'm okay with.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean,
Like I
he
said,
just
it's
appears
stupid
out of nowhere without Ahsoka or Sabine, so it's like, oh shit. So what's going on? Also, hey, good to see you.
Yeah, true.
Can I offer a point that leads broader? Is
Please.
that I felt like, for example, that scene with the reunion is like an example of them foregoing seeing something exciting and interesting to just get the plot thing done. And it's like, come on, dude. How does he get off the fucking Chimera and steal a ship?
I thought that was very Rebels. Like, honestly, not having that answer was like, he just stole a ship from Thrawn. It's that easy, apparently.
I don't accept that.
He just stole a ship.
Even though I love Rebels and they do that occasionally, there were two moments. There was that moment, and then when Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine jump off the Howlers and start fighting the Night Troopers, we don't get to see them do that, and we just cut to them in the little hallway scene fighting them next. Those two freaking scenes, I was like, just. I don't care if it's exposition. Just give me a little something.
I agree. I think this episode could have actually benefited from like 20 more minutes. Because like if this episode had 20 more minutes, you could have definitely another scene with Thrawn actually being in the galaxy, landing on Dathomir, for example. You could have added more to the Shin and Balin stuff, and then have Ezra escape from the Chimera. And I think that would have been enough. I think that's all this episode really needed.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it needed more. That's been my thing from the beginning.
No, it
felt like there was so much missing.
Just a smidge.
It just felt like a whole chase the past 3 episodes.
Yeah,
it could have had just one more episode.
And they're still chasing.
It's still that.
So you know what? This might be the only chase slower than the Book of Boba Fett scene that we've gotten in all of Star Wars so far.
No, dude, they're all still faster than The Last Jedi.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point. Good point.
That feels like an infinity.
I threw that part out of my memory banks there.
Well, yeah, don't recall it ever. But I'm just saying I did just now, unfortunately.
Jeez, Bradley. Come on, man.
All right. So we have all 8 episodes now. Can we pick a favorite? We've already
5.
It's all out there. 5?
6.
5 is hands down the best episode of this series.
6 was the Shadow Princess. Which one was it?
6 is when they got to
Britain. Ezra and Thrawn for the first time. 5 is the whole Clone Wars flashbacks roll between worlds. Like that's what that hits me. That's my.
I like 5. 5 is mine.
What are we talking about?
Those
5 is
are
the one.
probably though.
The World Between Worlds one is mine.
Oh yeah, my favorite episode too. Same.
I think that has to be it. Some
That's
good
one
moments
I'm
from
like,
last episode. But overall, that one was the best, start to finish. It felt like that one too. That had the most. Dave was like, "No, I feel this is the essence of the show. Is this
because it touched on everything."
It's because Dave directed the episode. When he's all hands on deck, it's like, okay, we're getting what it would be like if we're watching George in the modern age. That's what it is. But otherwise, ain't it completely.
No.
It's still good. We get good stuff, but I think Dave handles it the best whenever he gets to do it.
Yeah.
Like full behind the camera stuff, not just being like, blah blah blah.
Yeah, that looked like a movie, whereas this went back to looking a lot like a TV show.
Right.
And it's like the most, again, I literally, as a joke, just kept saying this to Jack while we were watching it. I was like, oh, wow, medium shot. What are we going to cut to next? Oh, it's a medium shot. Hey, what's the next shot? Oh, it's a medium shot, no movement. It's like, God, what is this? And we were talking about all the dynamism with the fighting. Like, it was all just flat angles, barely moving. Just what's going on? And then Dave's episodes are like a movie.
Right. Well, I'm disappointed because Rick is like a great director. He's done
great
stuff with the Mando stuff. So
I agree.
I don't understand why this was a little bit more lackluster.
Do you think they might have done it on a medium or on the medium or something, and it might have just constrained their ability to actually do something? Because because it is a bunch of medium shots, or it's just like it's this.
You mean like the digital background, like the stage thing?
Yeah, the medium, the volume, I guess.
Then then at the very least, that just shows how good Greg Fraser is of a cinematographer, because he made season 1 of Mando look like a movie.
Oh yeah,
and this is again it's like with the lighting, like everything, it's so flat and gray and boring and uninspired.
I agree. I don't think the volume's been utilized as well as it has or was, I guess, in Mando season 1 across literally anything that's used.
You're completely right.
Which is shocking because it seemed like it was going to be the next thing, but it's really not. It's a hindrance just as much as it is helpful, I think. But you need talent with their eye in the camera. That's just what it is.
Well, in terms of fight choreo, the best fight scene in this was episode 4 between Baylan and Ahsoka.
Absolutely.
Like, that shit was awesome. That was like, it stole the show, honestly, in terms of fighting. Besides Anakin and Ahsoka and those flashbacks. But this ending didn't really.
No, and I agree with you, because that episode the fight between them earlier really did feel like, she was doing more like fluid, more katana-like moves. He was really swinging a broadsword.
Yeah.
And then I feel like every other fight just became like, again, we're just accomplishing, like, we need these many points of contact. We need this to happen. And then that's it.
I did like the fight, I guess, choreography wise, this last one from this episode with Morgan Elsbeth, just the katana aspect of it. But there were moments where they were like, it felt like, okay, I wait here, you hit my sword.
Yeah. See, because it's not shot well. There's no energy.
I think what we need from Star Wars is more.
It needs to be kinetic.
We need what would have been cool is a more synchronized fight between Sabine, not between them, but Sabine and Ezra with those night troopers. I feel like I think if they were more in sync, you have a lot more stylistic blade fighters, because they've been training, right? They're actually coordinated with, unlike Rey and Ren, who maybe, I don't know. I'm just saying, like, you could have a lot more elegance. I mean, these are people who have been trained by Anakin, like by Mace Windu, like lineage down. Like, I'm just saying. Have these people be more coordinated with their fights and have better shots.
I mean, Ahsoka took lessons from Yoda. You would think she would have a little bit more.
That's true, man.
Well, Ahsoka and Ezra are literally, and technically, Sabine and Ezra are on the lineage of Yoda and Mace.
That's true.
Because literally Yoda trained Dooku. His last one, Dooku trained Obi-Wan.
Qui-Gon.
Dooku trained Qui-Gon. Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan Anakin, so on and so forth.
I really just started.
Mace,
who was Kanan's master?
Depa Billaba.
Yeah.
And then that was Mace Windu's apprentice, right?
The only other person he ever taught Vapid.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So it is connected. Yeah.
Yeah. So
it rhymes.
It's poetry, baby.
I'm just saying they should be able to fight a lot better based off of their masters.
Well, you know what I think this all comes down to? I think this isn't a lore thing. I don't think this is like a lapse in writing. I think this is straight up negligent training. Like, literally, freaking Hayden Christensen was in the combat studio for months at a time just to get his scenes right for this show. I mean, even twice as long for Revenge of the Sith with his
True.
with Ewan McGregor.
Oh, that's a huge difference.
Look at him.
Yeah.
The episode with Anakin and the world between worlds. Like, dude, oh my god, dude, he brought back everything we wanted to see in him. His saber movements, his combat style, he literally got it down to the lightsaber.
100%.
Well, he comes back in it like he feels like he's a veteran swordsman when he comes back in. You're like, this guy's been playing around here.
Everyone's so excited to see him because exactly.
He puts in the work when he's training, and he takes it so seriously. I just think, honestly, the reason it's so clunky is because, like, I feel kind of like it was like it's good enough. This looks good. We'll do it. But it wasn't like that. Like just that above the line that Hayden Christensen has delivered.
Like there just were creative choices and moments that they could have made. Like honestly, hindsight's 2020. But the whole Night Troopers, Ezra, Sabine, Ahsoka going up and down through the hallways and stuff. Wait a minute. What is Star Wars known for? To a degree,
hallway scenes.
Hallway scenes.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you utilize? I mean, we just had John Wick 4 too, so why don't we get a good staircase and a hallway scene? Double it up. Do some little homages or something. I don't get why it wasn't.
Or Old Boy.
Oh God, that movie.
What about that, dude? That's the best hallway shot.
Please, ever maybe.
The original.
Oh no.
Yeah. I like the Spike Lee one, all right, but it's not the real one.
No, it's good, but yeah.
But yeah, dude, imagine like Ahsoka going down the hallway like the main guy with the two lightsabers.
Oh, that would be so sick, dude.
I would lose my mind. Everyone would lose their mind. So cool.
Real quick, just while we're there, we have to get back on top immediately after because we'll ADD like nobody's freaking business.
Yeah.
Best hallway scene in Star Wars. Go.
Rogue One.
Yeah.
Rogue One.
Yeah.
Rogue One.
Mando season 2 finale.
With Luke.
Yeah.
Clone Wars season 7.
See, that was
Maul, no lightsaber, using the Force to rip off.
Oh, that's a good one.
Hands down.
That's a good one.
I love that.
That's a really good one. Yeah.
It might be one of my favorite scenes in Star Wars. I love that shit.
I still think Darth Vader goes crazy because everyone's running in fear too.
Oh, it's great.
He just throws the guy up to the ceiling, disembowels him with his legs.
Like those clone troopers are still like fighting him off. Like they're soldiers. They don't. I mean, but these Darth Vader going up against these like rebels who are like hardly even trained. Get us the fuck out of here!
Yeah, dude, it's so good.
That's terrifyingly awesome, dude. I'm telling you.
See, I'm with Sci-Fi Quest here. I would like an elevator lightsaber fight because
an elevator scene would be great.
Kind of like a Winter Soldier, like Captain America Winter Soldier type.
Yeah. But you're like slicing the exterior the whole time. Like that'd be wild.
Like it would be a mix of like what we see in Revenge of the Sith, like when they're taking Palpatine or getting him off.
Yeah, I guess they do that in the elevator, but it's not like a fight.
But do it different, more like an action sequence.
Yeah, you're trading blows.
Yeah.
Ooh, like some just really close quarters combat with weapons that you shouldn't be using close quarters. Probably getting sliced up a little bit more than you should as well. It'd be dope. It'd be great.
It needs the grit. That's what this episode felt. I just kept saying to Jack on the phone, I was like, dude, this is like a video game or something. But like in video games that I play, I take more hits than this. Like no one's getting hit.
More violence. No one's getting emotionally hurt. It's really nothing, really. Like,
no.
I mean,
it felt like I was playing Jedi Survivor on story mode.
Yes.
Decapitations off.
Yes.
Why would you have it?
I think it's ultimately might come down to the fact that these are TV shows and not movies, where there's probably just a lot more like, I mean, not in, obviously the Disney era, but when you have a movie, you're putting way more time and effort into that.
Well,
even
and money.
To play devil's advocate.
No, I agree. It's Disney, but I'm just saying,
bro, I hate Game of Thrones, but look at something like that, man. Come on.
God, yeah. No,
I don't think that argument holds up if you look at Game of Thrones, pure and simple.
Sure, I understand that, but this feels like just a regular TV show that I would watch that's not like grand scale budget besides probably the meat of this series, which was episodes 4, 5, and 6. I don't get that scale. Where like with Mando season 1, I feel that almost the whole time.
Well, okay, I'm as
like drops. That's the point, I would say.
Yeah, like I don't understand. Like it loses its focus where it's like, okay, you're making TV shows that are like movie quality, but I think it loses it here.
And it gets like that.
Where it could be like a Stranger Things, where it's like, oh, that feels like one long ass movie. This does not. Where it should. Where that's
there's not a cohesive. There's not a cohesive like visual language throughout every episode.
Right.
It's completely disjointed like that. Yeah, I agree with that.
Stranger Things feels like it's like a modern day Lonesome Dove almost for every season. Like it feels like a mini series tossed onto a season real quick, which is nice.
Never finished it. Sorry.
Lonesome Dove?
No. Stranger Things.
Oh, I was about to say both. I mean, Lonesome Dove's long. But Stranger Things are good. I feel like we could have gotten a little bit more of those, the vibes and the quality for this, because the Night Sisters kind of fit into that kind of upside down kind of world tonality wise, and it'd have been nice to just have that little bit of grit. There's nothing better to say than the grit. Just give us something.
I'm just mainly comparing in terms of like scale, where like each episode builds off each other, and then it leads to this huge climax where we don't get that here.
No. And I think, Aaron, we've talked about that a lot. Like, that's been our criticism of literally every show, is that it's like one episode up, one down. It just goes like this.
I see that ultimately with like mainly the Marvel shows, like besides Loki.
Big time.
Where,
besides Loki.
Besides Loki, that's the only one that feels like it's fully landed a finale in my eyes.
Oh, I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Completely.
We're talking about Night Sisters. I want to talk about the Stormtrooper Night Sister thing. Although it was really cool, this is what I thought was going to happen.
Oh, I called it, by the way, last week. I called it.
Yeah?
I called it that they were dead. I did call that.
Or did they start dead and then they got brought back again, or is it just continued?
No, they didn't start dead.
They were resurrected, apparently. They were.
Yeah, the Death Troopers were zombies.
Okay, so I'm going to just take the win from that part. I'm going to cherry pick my win.
Good.
Go ahead.
I was going to give it to you either way. I was just curious about, did they, but using the magic, could they just do it over and over? That's what I was trying to decide.
It's kind of what kept happening.
Yeah,
I guess so.
Two thoughts. They started off very like very zombie like, and then towards the end they were just like
jogging,
marching,
cutting through doors.
I'm like, wow.
What the fuck?
I was only dead for like 5 seconds. I should remember. I still got pretty much a lot of brain function left. I should know how to walk, right? I don't know. I just thought that was a little weird. I thought that's how they're gonna rationalize chopping off a lot more limbs at that point. I'm like,
I thought they were gonna do that too. I was like, go for the legs, go for the arms.
Go for everything at this point because there's zombies.
They
zombies, you gotta cut off their head to kill the zombies, right?
They did the same shit. They did body slices. They did shooting.
They just kept doing the same thing. And the only thing that worked was shutting the doors.
I wanted some Night Trooper bowling pins around there.
For
5 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I said I wanted some Night Trooper bowling pins. I just wanted them to get sliced and diced and just rolling down those stairs.
Back up, man.
I just wanted them to take 5 minutes during the episode to like look at each other like, how do we kill these guys?
Oh, wait, here's a question. Here's a stupid question. I just don't remember it. Mother Talzin's sword.
Yes, please.
Pure energy? Wasn't that pure energy in the Clone Wars? Like I forget. Like.
Well, they summoned it together, and it was technically pure energy. With I guess they treated it like a metallic sword.
No, it materialized. I thought that was a real blade.
No, yeah,
it felt like Uh-huh.
My point is like in the show, when Mother Talzin used it, she would take the magic, and the magic was her blade, right? Am I wrong?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure.
No, I think you're right. I also play the game. There's
fake fans.
And I think it's just an energy thing, you know.
I was wondering about that because, like, that's a heavy feat of magic if they can literally materialize a sword
from across a different galaxy.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's big time.
Huge time, dude.
We've never seen something like that.
No.
I don't think.
Well,
Talzin's done some pretty big stuff. That's not like out of the question for them, honestly.
Why?
But it is big.
Why did the mothers want to go back to Dathomir? Unless that's a new question.
I think it's so they have enough to resurrect the entire whatever is in those body bags.
Which has to be fallen Night Sisters.
Or is it clones?
No, I don't know if it's Night Sisters if it's on the ship.
Like is it like Tamura Morrison, like those clones? I don't know what else to decide. I don't know
Well,
what they could
how
do.
would I'm just thinking they're on.
Would they have genetic samples? I don't know.
You know, they probably are from the planet. No, you're probably right. They're probably just bodies from the planet or something. How did the Night Sisters get there? Why were they buried there?
Bro, so many questions that I need answered right now.
Okay, so
See, but that's the thing. Like, could we not? They didn't even address like possible threads. Even there was not.
No,
That's where I'm confused.
They're throwing shit against the wall.
Yeah,
felt like
that's kind of what it feels like.
Felt like the end of Mando when they finally wrapped it up, and he goes back on his village with Grogu. Right?
Yeah.
Just wrapped it up. But there's going to be another one. There's going to be another season. They have to wrap it up. They have to tie it in somehow.
Well, that's the thing. Is there going to be another season? Like Ahsoka didn't get the highest view rate.
The movie.
Bob Iger's saying they need to like cut back on Marvel and Star Wars shows. If this didn't get a high review rate, not a super high rating at the end of the day, are we in trouble of getting an Ahsoka season 2?
No, they wouldn't do that, man.
I think they have to keep this one. Yeah. I don't.
Because it ties into the whole universe that they're trying to push right now. This is all the thread that connects all the bullshit that happened in the sequels.
Man,
it is.
I think the ultimate problem they're having is by doing all this stuff as TV shows, where it's like when The Mandalorian was originally, like when you watch that first episode, it's like, oh, this is like some completely standoffish, some cool story. That's what shows should be. With this, where it's going to turn into like, oh, heir to the Empire shit, just make movies.
Well, it's like that whole Disney bullshit, bro. It's like, hey, how can we milk viewership? How can we milk?
That's true.
How can we make more toys and make that and edge them and make them buy this and until we introduce a new guy to buy and this and a new character to come into. That's all it is, bro. It's marketing. It's great marketing.
No,
really
you're right.
But
it is. But I think they're shooting themselves in the foot by doing it.
They are, absolutely. I mean, look at us. We're bitching about this show for the
thing is
in a row.
The thing is, we all love Star Wars, and we all have hope that Star Wars will get better.
Damn right.
Never mind. That's a whole.
Everyone's getting a little edgy now. So
letting that cat out of the bag. Cat out of the bag.
I think I mean it's just symptomatic from a top-down level, okay, that every studio is run by complete fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Can we be honest?
Yeah,
it's really an extremely diagnosable problem because these people are not creatives. They can't tell stories. Most people are functionally retarded. I'll just be honest. Most people are, okay? And just because they sit in a higher office doesn't mean they're any less retarded than someone lower. Okay?
They don't know Star Wars. They're not Star Wars fans. People who are not.
But just pick your studio. It's all of them.
Not being in charge of things they don't understand.
And they don't care.
Yeah.
That's the quintessential thing. They're not necessarily idiots in like they're great. They're smart CEOs that are able to do all these
clearly
great
they can run a they can be at a business level.
But they don't care about what they're doing, and you can't not care about what you're doing. And if you don't care about a creative art project, how the hell are you actually supposed to make something artful? You know,
right? But it's also, dude, Harris, I know. Tell me if you agree, because again, we're both into trying to do our own way into filmmaking ourselves. I've just kind of realized that like these things are like, I don't know if it's which one's proper to say, if they are or they're not mutually exclusive, but it's like. To be film is the business, but it's the art thing. Oh yeah, it's to say those are separate and mutually exclusive is wrong, because if you understand that it is a business, then the business is what is the obvious thing in business is to make the best product. So you need the best artist to make the best product. So to say that like those things sacrifice one for the other is completely asinine. And therefore, your opinion, if you say that to me, is gone in the trash because you have no idea what you're talking about. Because in the past, these movies were good, and that's why they were successful. Like, I don't know what else to say.
Schmook, what do you have to say about that? You disagree?
Well, no, I completely agree. It's simply.
I thought I heard you say
sorry for that. That just gets me heated.
That was beautiful. Beautiful.
Don't apologize. That was hot.
I want you to get back on the soapbox.
I feel like you're a tall guy. Brad, are you tall? Are you over 6 foot?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just get that vibe from you.
Thank you.
I met this guy in real life. I don't know.
Yeah, same. Yeah, no, yeah.
Just had to bring that up. No,
Yeah, we
you're
should.
absolutely right. You're absolutely right, because you look at all of the extended universe, you look at all the years of books and comics and video games, all the source material that has accumulated since George Lucas started writing Star Wars. There's so many storylines, there's so many arcs, there's so many characters, there's so many worlds to be explored. Yet, the people in the suits don't go to that, and they don't say, hey, the fans of Star Wars, the people who read. Oh, am I too quiet? Am I too quiet?
Oh, there you are. There's
Oh,
that
that
pretty
sounds
ASMR
good.
Is that
voice.
better?
I can
Oh
hear it.
yeah.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Ooh.
The fans, what I was saying is the fans of Star Wars who know all the lore, know the planets, know the aliens, all that bullshit, they're not getting what they want. People like us aren't getting pandered to. It's the people who casually turn on the show and say, oh, it's Star Wars, whatever, I'll watch it. But for us, it's like, why is this connecting? Why is this here? What does this mean? What is this doing? They're not doing it for us. They're doing it for people to mass enjoy, because that makes the most money. Not the niche little pockets of, oh, you've had to been reading the comments since you were kids. Like, nobody wants that bullshit. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want that bullshit. I want that bullshit so bad. I dream about that bullshit. But it's like,
You can layer it.
I
can
think you
layer
do
it
both.
so
You can
well.
easily do both. Have the cool shit for us and still make it entertaining
Exactly.
for the masses.
And
Well, you
vague
need
enough
cool shit
for
for the
someone
world
to
building
come in
aspect
brand
of it.
new and understand it. It's just like the prequels, man. I mean, you look at the OG Star Wars, and then you look at the prequels, and every generation has a different love of Star Wars. My dad loves the OGs. I mean, don't get me wrong. I watched A New Hope every single night before I went to bed, but Revenge of the Sith is still my favorite fucking Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
It's not the best by any means, but it's the coolest. It's the one I remember the most. I mean,
Yeah.
Right.
because of those movies, like, you understand, oh, this is the story of this. And this is, like, you don't need to, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so easy. It's such an easy universe to just start anywhere and have everything else fill in the blanks. But
Yes.
And that's kind of like the biggest thing
I
that
don't know.
normies have been saying about Ahsoka. It's they're having it trouble, I guess, following it. I keep trying to defend it
I
and
gotta
be like,
turn this fan on, y'all. I'm sorry.
it'll be good. No, you're good. You're good.
Sweating
Uh,
taint. Stress swonk in my dick, dude.
I think
no
ultimately
AC
you have
in
to
this
do,
studio. Dude.
I think what Disney has to ultimately do is, like, you got to look at, like, what Feige was able to do for a while with Marvel. It's like, you can tell that he was a fan of all of this stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, like a true fan. But then you hire a J.J. Abrams, you can tell he's just a fan of, like, the original trilogy. He probably didn't fuck with the prequels much because, of course, that probably wasn't his generation, you know?
Yeah.
He was making his own movies by that point.
Right. But
Yeah.
then you look at Rian Johnson, too. It's like, you can't prove to me that he was a fan of Star Wars.
No.
A true fan. So it's...
Well, okay.
Coming down to, like, who they are
Also,
hiring.
Jon Favreau had a huge hand in how good.
Oh, damn right.
was.
Favreau's
Huge hand. But you can tell they pushed him aside.
Exactly.
And then Filoni was off doing this, so he couldn't help either on there.
Tank's
So there's
quality.
well, Filoni's the creative director, which means anybody that is writing a book, doing a TV show at all, so he's stretched thin one way or another. Whether he is the showrunner and doing Ahsoka, he's not there all the time. Whether he is the showrunner there or not, which sucks, but he is stretched thin.
Right. Well, again, like you can see that happen with Feige. He got stretched.
Yeah. So okay.
Constant projects, it becomes really difficult. Where you gotta have a focus, and go forward.
Just because you've mentioned the White Suge Knight, or Kevin Feige himself, Marvel's kind of in the dumps right now.
It is
not looking good. Loki has gotten some good reviews. It's sitting at 80 generally on the Rotten Tomatoes, but like I sent you the IGN, there's a couple really bad reviews as well.
It's absurd.
Right. No, it scared me when I looked at other reviews. I'm like, you know what? I don't know why I got nervous.
Oh, you're talking about season 2?
Yeah, season 2.
Oh, okay.
So even the new stuff coming up, though, like, there's just a lot of iffy stuff. I mean, they're big bad's Kang right now, and we know Jonathan Majors is having an interesting time.
But I feel like they knew Loki had a big, like,
not only
it was one of the most popular Disney Plus shows. It's one of the most popular, like, shows.
It's the best one they put out since WandaVision, in my opinion.
Right.
Oh yeah,
I loved WandaVision.
Oh, so good, so unique.
And it was the one that like immediately when it ends, it says, "Oh, there's going to be a season 2." So it's like I know they have a lot of focus into this specific season of television. So it's like that's where I think a lot of the the creative quality is going into is this to like build into like Deadpool 3 and Secret Wars and whatnot, you know. So I think that's where we're going to get a bit of a
watched
boost.
Secret Wars, dude. That tanked.
No, that's Secret Invasion. Secret Wars is
Invasion.
I watched
I've stopped paying attention to Marvel, and I'm a huge Marvel fan. I've been reading the comics.
I watched it. It was not even.
So okay. It's not likely. We're shooting the shit. That's all. But would you like
cans can double as cup holders just in case?
Oh, that's actually kind of handy.
Okay, sorry.
But just on this thought process, Favreau for president. Hey, Favreau for anything. That man made The Mandalorian. He made Iron Man. He's done 2 of the most successful franchises.
He made
the best
Elf.
things he could do. And he made Elf.
He made
and
Elf.
Zathura. He made a sequel to Jumanji.
He did
It's
Zathura.
wonderful. Yeah, that's him.
I know that. J5.
He's the best, man. And Chef, one of the best cooking movies ever. I absolutely adore Chef. I love Chef. Anyway, Feige's first love is Star Wars. He's always said this. He was tapped on to do a Star Wars movie and an executive produced it, and then Kathleen Kennedy was like, no, he didn't, and they kind of canceled that quietly.
J.J. Abrams said the same thing, too, by the way. Just saying.
Well, would y'all like if Feige left the MCU to come to Star Wars for a little bit, for a couple years?
Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know if it really functions like we're just switching teams. It's sort of like you have to like.
Well, I don't think he would treat it like that, you know?
Fair. That's a fair point.
He's, by all technicalities, the greatest producer ever per capita. I think Jerry Bruckheimer still probably has him for like lifelong, but per capita, technically, he is the most successful, at least.
I think the fans need to test.
Was pretty up there.
Oh, Harv.
Oh, Harvey.
Oh, yeah.
Harvey.
It's true. No, you're right. You're right. Literally, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Weinstein Company has probably like several billion.
They're the reason Lord of the Rings happened. I mean,
no, fair enough. Yeah.
The reason a lot of things happen.
But
a lot. Everything Tarantino's ever done.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, Nick, what were you saying real quick? Sorry.
No, I was just saying if you guys wanted Feige to be a part of like Star Wars, I think you guys should have the Star Wars fans test his knowledge of Star Wars first.
I think it should be a guy named George Lucas. That's who I think it should be.
Break off his fucking old ass. He's
That'd be nice.
So obsessed with it. Get back in there, and I want to hear his opinions.
Yeah, buddy, you're visiting the set every day for every fucking project. Just make one.
Come on.
Just put your input in, man. They're gonna fucking listen to you, dude.
Now they will.
Yeah, now they will.
Okay. Just real quick, what you just said made me think. Is George Lucas coming to set and Dave being does that maybe hinder something a little bit? I don't really think so, but like in the sense where we are saying it feels like we're just getting plot point to next plot point and not actually getting that nuance between those scenes. And we're just kind of like, all right, well, this needs to be done, and we're getting that scene shot, we're getting that scene done. And that's what we get. Is George Lucas giving them good plot points and then they only focus on that and forget the nuance?
No, I mean it's in like the screenwriting, like that's where all the nuance is missing. So I don't think he literally has anything to do with like them writing the scripts.
Do
you don't think Dave calls him and asks him about that kind of stuff though? They've been together since 2003. You know?
Yeah, but I don't think at this point that now that it's sold, I don't know. I can't imagine Dave like calling him up and like asking him because he doesn't need to at this point.
Well, I think also at this point it's like it's a big divorce, and now it's like the stepdad calling the real birth father about how to raise his kids, but it's like, hey, it's your job now. You know?
That's a great point.
Like, hey, like I love them, but they're with you. Like I have zero say now. Like
that's insightful.
He just doesn't. His baby's just taken away from him.
Yeah, but wasn't really.
I don't know why he should help them. He got his money. He can just do what he wants to do now.
Yeah, but like, I don't know.
Yeah, but he sold it though, so it's a little like
billions.
Yeah, it's like you need to lie in the bed, but at the same time, like I feel for him in like his probably deeply oppressive his deeply saddening like hindsight that now he sees what like for the love of money he might have done. Like I don't know if it was worth it. That's probably what he feels.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
it's
honestly,
not they took it from him. I don't think that'd be
No,
this
but
isn't some
no,
messy court
I'm not.
divorce.
I understand that. It's just me saying that. Why should he really want to play a role in it nowadays? Because like he,
Oh, yeah.
go to a different head.
My bad. Yeah. Well, he said that about The Last Jedi. If I
Yeah.
don't remember, around the time it was coming out, he was like, this is for the next people to do. Like, they don't need my opinion, stuff like that.
But that's the thing. Like we just said a minute ago, he keeps coming back to set over and over and over again. This is his baby. He's whether he's sold or not, he's still directly. I mean, his protege is the creative director of Lucasfilm now.
That's true.
He chose the president and executive president of Lucasfilm right now, even though she probably hasn't done exactly what he wants to do. This is his child. I don't think he leaves it. I think he's probably still more involved than any of us probably realize, or maybe anybody even at Disney realizes as well.
Well, I think a lot of the problems that we're having are not Filoni's shortcomings. It's the studio execs and the heads and the producers who are saying, no, that's not going to work. We're going to have to do something like this. It's exactly what we said earlier.
Is that part of the simplification of it, where it does feel that basic?
I would say so. I would say that a lot of the issues that I have with Star Wars these days comes from a lack of
magic
and care. Yeah.
It's a lack of artistry.
Yeah.
It's a product.
And Dave,
now.
I mean,
No
you've
love.
seen Clone Wars. We've seen Rebels. We know exactly how much this guy cares about the lore and cares about the story. We know that. But
this is just a bad script this time, man. I guess.
There's people ahead of him that make him. I mean, dude, my dad is okay. So he's a creative director as well. He's been in advertising. He's been directing and writing for about 30 years. Every time he would come home, I mean, he's worked with Mark Hamill. He's worked with, he's worked with so many big people. It's really quite cool. And one of his biggest complaints is like, you hired me to make your art.
Right.
Let me write. Let me direct. You are paying me the money to do that. Stop putting in your ideas. I don't want them, and I don't care. But because in this world, it's not my dad's product. It's not Filoni's product. It's Disney's product.
Right.
And Disney steps in, whips out their giant, massive, multi-billion-dollar dick.
Yep.
And says, take that. I don't care what you have to say. I'm paying you. You listen to me. Which is frustrating for creatives anywhere, especially writers who are like, okay, you're going to pay me to do a good job. I'm going to do a great job. I'm going to show you what I'm worth. And that happens all the time. It happens in commercials. It happens in fucking print ads. It happens in everything. Every form of media that is observed or digested in any form. The guy who's paying the artist has final say, absolutely. And it is bullshit. But I mean, honestly, if I'm paying you to make my deck and I don't like the way it looks, I want you to change it. So I will say on that point, I do get it a little bit. But like also, if I'm paying a doctor to tell me what's wrong with me, I'm going to listen to everything he has to fucking say.
Right. I was just going to say because from the other side, okay, if we're taking all the time to make such a product then, well, before we make it, I'm going to tell you everything. You give me what you want, and then fine. Let's make it. But let's not, that because I think the problem is in so many ways, especially my cat, stop fucking with me. I think that there's such a they keep stepping in when it's like, no, let's have a plan to start, then we execute. Let's get all the disagreements out of the way.
Yeah.
And because clearly the sequels are exhibit A for all of this.
Precisely, dude.
You see what I mean?
Dude, the original plan with the sequels, just for one, was to have Finn be a stormtrooper who turns Jedi.
Yes.
And then guess what? China didn't like that. China didn't want a black guy to be the main character of this multi-billion-dollar franchise.
Do you think that's literally what did it?
Absolutely.
Well,
believe so.
it was a huge part of it. If it wasn't the main reason,
If it wasn't the main part, it was one of the biggest parts.
which
Hey guys, I hate to
sucks.
say, to cut you guys off. I gotta head out. Gotta head to bed.
All right, Schmooky.
But
It was
hey,
good seeing you, man.
always fun. Always fun.
Good night,
But
bro.
overall, just want to say, mid-episode, overall, okay series with some huge highlights.
1 out of 10 for the episode, 1 out of 10 for the series so far.
Episode 6, it's above average, but it's very lackluster. Series as a whole, I'll give it 7. Again, the highs are high, like very high.
Yeah, true.
But overall, not the best. I like the first
like an
2 seasons of
abusive
Mando
relationship.
more.
I would give it a 7. There are some episodes that I would watch again.
Yeah.
That I
Yeah.
would keep
Right,
watching.
guys,
There's
I'll catch
some
y'all
where I'm
soon.
going to be like, it's
See you, brother.
printed in mine. See ya.
I don't know, man.